Chapter 22, Section 3, Changes in Life and Society. Today, we will be discussing the effects that the Industrial Revolution had on society.
Well, that sounds boring.
The effect that the Industrial Revolution had on the whole world was tremendous. It had a large impact on behavior of the middle class and an even larger effect on women in the middle class then and even today.
Industrial Revolution came the impact of voice of women, especially in Europe, for suffrage and other rights and changes in the middle class. This has led to change in public education and freedom.
Both of these outcomes still have a strong influence throughout the world, but let's start back in the beginning of their major social importance in the 19th and 20th century Europe.
Revolution was the beginnings of modern feminism. It had not yet turned into the major controversy of today, but only the mere beginnings of women growing and gaining rights, mainly the right to vote. That is women's suffrage.
Suffrage was based mainly out of European countries. Of and since then, it has spread. Women of this era believed that suffrage was the key to moving up in their position in society.
A key name to remember relating to women's suffrage is Emmeline Pankhurst. Her and her daughters founded the Women's Social and Political Union and publicly fought against the average society's view on women. They were known to pelt eggs at government officials, chain themselves to lampposts, smash department store windows. They were often brutally arrested and treated terribly. What was that noise?
Oh hey, forgot you were there again. Most feminist leaders of the Industrial Revolution came from England, and it was to some avail. The women in England won the right to own property in 1870. But that turned out to be as successful as it led to suffragists, or the women who advocated to gain political rights. Political rights!
In today's society, the ideas of suffragettes and even feminism is still being conveyed. Today, organizations like He for She, Emily's List, Planned Parenthood, and even people like Emma Watson, Ellen DeGeneres, and Zendaya have influenced events and movements relating to women's rights. Even in pop culture, Mary Poppins has a great example of the Industrial Revolution times for women and the middle class in England.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Another conflict was that of social Darwinism. Darwin had the ideology that in nature, the strongest and most fit survive. This was taken into social and racial terms, that white people were more fit to survive than others. Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest may be great for science, but for the social and economic world, it's not. Even businesses felt the impact of social Darwinism as competition became fierce and larger between big and small businesses.
The biggest effect of social Darwinism that can be seen today, though, is the thoughts of racism and white supremacy, which even led to world wars and the thought of people being superior to others. They feel like they are better than instead of being equal.
And speaking of science, today's most important chemistry ideals came out of this time. The modern idea of the atomic theory came out of the Industrial Revolution. Both John Dalton and Dmitri Mendeleev formed the ideas of modern atomic theory and the modern periodic table.
But this is a global class. Why are we talking about chemistry? I hate chemistry.
So do I! Let's change the topic, Sarah.
Fine. Well then, let's move on to the middle class structure. Middle class values changed drastically, all the way down to how people behave.
Well, that's a lot different than we even have today. But when you think about things, so is education. Obviously, we all know how the education system works today. But during this drastic period of change, schooling systems changed.
Yeah, only middle-class society members could afford to send their male sons to school. Some girls were sent to school in hopes of marrying into a family. That's not fair. We deserve an education. Well, that's all we have for today. Join us tomorrow night at 7 News.